This video will probably make me unpopular. I've noticed that there is a definite tendency amongst many Americans to place celebrities high up on a pedestal and to believe that people should not criticise them or share publicly available information. I will, however, point out that I'm not here to criticise, and in this instance, I'm not even here to speculate. I'm simply going to share documents and present facts. So, unless you've been under a rock for the past 12 months, you would of course be aware of the civil case between Kiely Rodni's father and grandfather against Ryan Upchurch over his coverage of her case. Currently, where things stand as of late June, there has been a settlement offer made by Upchurch which appears to be in the negotiation phase. Let's take a look at the court document relating to this. So this is a 3-page document. If you have access to POSA, then you can access this document online. I've not worried about the other 2 pages because it's all just administrative stuff. So the main thing that we're looking at is the blurb on the bottom of this page that I'm showing here. Pursuant to the initial case management order, the parties jointly submit this status report. In support of this report, the parties would show that plaintiffs have extended a settlement offer to which defendant has responded. Okay, so now I realise that here I was just saying before that Upchurch had made a settlement offer, but it's actually plaintiffs, as in Rodni and Robinson, that have made the settlement offer. In these settlement discussions, the parties discussed their respective positions and next steps towards potentially resolving this matter. Parties are mindful of the deadline to mediate this matter by November 15th, 2024, and have been discussing potential mediators toward that end. So basically what it's saying is that the plaintiffs, so Kiely's family, have put in an offer for settlement with Upchurch, and that is all now in negotiation. It talks about mediation and that the deadline for mediation is November the 15th. So to me it sounds like it was perhaps not a suitable offer that was made. And I'm not going to speculate on it because I do have a lot of respect for Ryan, so it's up to him. If he wants to go further into that, well and good. But for us, that's all we need to know really, is that the whole thing is currently in mediation. So, at the same time that this settlement offer was being made, Upchurch's legal team also filed what is referred to as an answer to the complaint made by Kiely Rodni's father and grandfather. Of course, should both parties agree to a settlement, neither the complaint nor the answer remain significant. However, I thought it might be interesting to look at these side by side so that we can see the position of both parties. As already mentioned, I'm hoping to do this in a way that is respectful towards both parties, and so I'd also like to request that people refrain from any negative personal attacks in the comments section. I certainly welcome your opinions, but hope that people can perhaps find a diplomatic way of sharing their thoughts. Because both documents are around 30 pages long, I will be covering these in multiple videos, rather than pushing on with an overly long video. So anyway, let's jump in and start to take a look at these documents. So this is just a standard cover page. You've got the case number there on the right hand side. Now I've got a question for people in America, because here in Australia A judge and a magistrate are essentially the same thing. Magistrates in Australia hear civil cases and like petty criminal cases, things that don't make it to the Supreme Court. A judge is essentially a more fancy magistrate. They're the ones that sit in the Supreme Court and they listen to things like murder cases and stuff like that. So in Australia, you're not going to see a case that has a judge and a magistrate. A civil case in Australia would be heard by a magistrate in the magistrate's court. So why does this have a judge and a magistrate? If someone can explain that to me, that would be brilliant. So here we're starting with them quoting a precedent. So that is basically saying, well, this is from another case, this is why our case stands. So they've got the right of a man in the protection of his own reputation from unjustified invasion and wrongful hurt reflects no more than our basic concept of the essential dignity and worth of every human being. A concept at the root of any decent system of ordered liberty. And you've got the case details underneath. So in terms of this document, what I found is that there will be several points where Ryan will basically put the answer of that he denies that allegation. So I will be grouping some of the points in that way. So for example, I'm going to look at the first 3 points because Ryan's reaction to those is somewhat consistent. Now before I jump in, I'm actually going to take a leaf out of the book of a few different YouTubers. The latest being Harsh Reality, who has done a GoFundMe to replace a somewhat expensive camera that got broken while he was on his holidays and was uninsured. So I figure if it's good enough for Harsh, then it's good enough for me. This video highlights to me the struggle that I'm having right now, in that I am currently editing all my videos on a somewhat old iPhone. Over summer my iPad basically exploded and I've been doing my best to save up to buy a replacement iPad so that I can edit my videos on that. So on that note, if you feel like supporting me and helping me towards my goal of buying better equipment for editing my videos in the form of a new iPad, which has the more efficient iOS system and of course the bigger screen and, well, better all around, then there is a link in my description box for buy me a coffee, and there is also a super thanks button on the bar under this video. So looking at points 1 through to 3. The amended complaint is filed pursuant to FRCP 15A1A. So FRCP stands for Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, and 15A is the following. So we're looking at 15A 1A, amendments before trial. Amending as a matter of course, a party may amend its pleading once, as a matter of course, no later than 21 days after serving. So it's essentially just legal stuff saying we're allowed to amend our complaint. Okay, point 2. The diversity action arises from the defamatory and tortious conduct of defendant Ryan Upchurch, as explained below. 3. Ryan Upchurch is a media personality, musician and prolific YouTuber who has approximately 3,140,000 subscribers on YouTube as of the date of this filing. So I will point out that all these legal terms are mostly going to be at the beginning of the document, so don't stress about the number of legal terms that are coming up that are possibly a little bit confusing for people. But let's look at tortious conduct. So this is basically an act or omission that makes the person responsible for it liable under the principles of tort law. The example being if a person causes harm to another person or their property due to their negligence or intentional actions. So here they're basically saying that the whole point of this claim is that Ryan has caused them hurt. He's caused harm to Tony and Daniel because of his actions. So for those first 3 points, the responses are as follows. Paragraph 1 of the first amended complaint contains a legal conclusion to which no answer is required. I won't read right through all that. 2. Mr. Upchurch denies the allegations contained in paragraph 2 of the first amended complaint. So Ryan is saying that his actions weren't defamatory or tortious conduct. Then for point 3, you have Upchurch is without knowledge or information sufficient to form a belief as to whether he is a prolific YouTuber, which allegation is therefore denied. Mr. Upchurch admits the remaining allegations contained in paragraph 3 of the first amended complaint. So basically he's saying he doesn't know if he's a prolific YouTuber, but yes, he is a media personality and a musician. So just looking at number 4 for starters, and Ryan basically in his reply says, yeah, he doesn't deny this. So number 4 is Upchurch began posting about the disappearance of Kiely Rodni, the granddaughter of plaintiff David Robertson, and the daughter of plaintiff Daniel Rodni, after Kiely's disappearance in August 2022 became a viral international news story. Point 5. There is an entire industry of true crime would-be sleuths posting all kinds of information on the internet. And Ryan's response to this is he is without knowledge or information sufficient to form a belief as to the allegations contained in paragraph 5 of the first amended complaint, which are therefore denied. So the answer is basically, well, fucked if I know. And then we have, for number 6, they've put Kiely Rodni disappeared after a party near Tahoe National Forest on August 6, 2022. Now, before we look at Ryan's response, it is interesting that in a legal document, they're saying that she disappeared after the party, which infers that she did actually leave the party. And once again, Ryan's reaction is the same, so he doesn't have sufficient knowledge to form a belief as to those allegations, so he denies those allegations. Now, for those of you who, like myself, have wondered why Kiely's family have done nothing to fight for Kiely for justice, when it appears from the autopsy that she did not drown. There was no water in her lungs. There were no signs whatsoever to indicate drowning. But here we have point 7 saying In the weeks following her disappearance, numerous online posters began wildly speculating as to what really happened to Kiely Rodni. As it would ultimately turn out, Kiely died of drowning when her vehicle crashed into the Prosser Reservoir and became submerged below 14 feet of water. No foul play was suspected. Now, I did say at the beginning of this video that I wasn't going to be passing judgment or speculating or anything, but I'm going to shout out to Ryan here. So, addressing point 7, he has said that he admits to the allegations that are in the weeks following her disappearance. Numerous online posters began wildly speculating as to what happened to Kiely Rodni. But then, as to the second part, he says he is without knowledge or information sufficient to form belief as to the remaining allegations contained in paragraph 7. In other words, he's saying, well, where's the proof that Kiely actually did drown in her vehicle? He cannot agree to those claims because he does not have sufficient evidence of that. And look, I'm going to stick my neck out here and say I agree with Ryan. 2 years we've been waiting. Where is the solid proof? Where is the evidence that Kiely drove herself into that reservoir? Because there is none. There is far more solid evidence to suggest that she did not drive herself into that reservoir, that she did not drown, that Kiely was already deceased when that vehicle went into the reservoir. Point 8, Ryan Upchurch was a prominent figure in this wild speculation. I am going to comment on that and say that for me, the prominent figures would have been Zavgirl, Grizzly, True Crime, Tyler Feller. I was aware that Upchurch was posting content, but I was watching the content from the people who jumped in from the very, very start and didn't really have time at the time to follow any of Ryan's content. The first time I became aware of Ryan was when he posted the reward, and also when people started talking about the stuff that went on between him and Iked Mel and him and Tony Dodge. Other than that, he wasn't someone that I was following at the time. And Ryan's response is that he denies the allegations. Mr. Upchurch was just one voice of many who discussed the reported disappearance of Miss Rodni, which is spot on. Point 9. After Kiely Rodni's body had been found, and after authorities had publicly stated that an autopsy had confirmed her identity, Upchurch uploaded several videos making outlandish claims, including that Kiely Rodni, Daniel Rodni and David Rodni were not real, and that the entire tragic episode was a scam by Kiely's family to raise money on a GoFundMe website. To which Ryan's response to this is that he basically denies all allegations from paragraph 9. So he denies that he uploaded multiple videos, and some related to Daniel and David, and he denies all the other allegations in paragraph 9. Point 10, Upchurch also published images of David Robertson and further published Daniel Rodni's former home address to his 3 million subscribers. The response: Mr. Upchurch admits the allegations contained in paragraph 10 of the first amended complaint that he shared the public information found online of David Robertson. Mr. Upchurch denies the remaining allegations in paragraph 10. So what he's saying here is that basically the images that he shared were publicly available images. So he wasn't doing anything wrong there. And then in terms of sharing Daniel's address with his 3 million followers, he's saying that he denies doing that. Now the document is split up into sections, and the first section, which is what we're looking at right now, has 22 different points. And given that we're already up to 20 minutes with this video, I think it's probably a good spot to stop here, having looked at point 10, and then I will do a follow-up video looking at points 11 through to 22, possibly further, because I know at the start of this video we also looked at definitions and stuff. But I will continue this in another video basically, depending of course on interest. If it appears that there's little to no interest in looking at this, then we might just leave it at that, and those people who are interested in finding out more can email me for copies of the documents if they like. But let's just play it by ear. So thanks for listening. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Also hit the like button, and please leave a comment below so that my videos are being seen by more people.